I'm back. We had a red hot day today, lots of bullish sentiment, huge pop in a lot of stocks. Um, S&P 500 and Dow back at all-time highs, which is just, I didn't expect that to happen. So I got the stocks sorted over here, and I selected a few to talk about tonight, and I sorted them in percentage gainers. So the first top percentage gainer and my little list here tonight is NNDM. This stock was pretty hot. It's up a lot. Let's see, the rally started down here at 240. Let's just say 250, and now it's got up to an $18 stock. So some of these huge runners, they really got punished during the correction. It was quite a momentum sell-off. And now we've seen a bounce. We're getting within range of the 200 period moving average here. Nice pin bar that could be a reversal signal. Nice big bullish candle today, and we've come into the cloud a little bit. Our next level of resistance is right here at the Kijun-sen line. And this blue in here, that's a 50 period moving average. Usually I don't look at these moving averages on the way back up. I just look for them for support on the way down. So you can see where the Kijun-sen line right here aligns with the flat top of this red cloud. So that's going to be our key resistance level right here at about $12. Okay, we're at $11 now. So if you're wanting to go long this stock right here, I see a little bit of risk with that, but I would, if I'm going to go long on a momentum trade, I like to watch the 30-minute chart. We got a pretty steep reversal right here, pretty steep cloud. We've jumped way up above the Kijun-sen line, so this looks a little overextended already to me. If I was going to get in this, I'd want to watch for a pullback to either Kijun-sen or the cloud. Buying it up here, you're basically kind of buying a top in a potential momentum run that you want to trade. Okay, you're not buying the top and where the stock has been, and it's got a lot of wood to chew through before it gets back to that top. The way these things are acting, we just need to watch for bullish sentiment to continue. It's quite possibly these things could just ignore these indicators altogether and blast right back to the top. I don't really see that happening, so we're going to have to see if these prices start respecting the indicator here. With a big move today, we had some news today. So as I said before, when there's news, technicals don't matter. People just pile in. They're not even, we have a lot of retail traders that don't even look at charts like this. They're just oblivious to these technical areas, so they're just piling in. Tilray, I'd actually taken a short position in this one, and I think I'm right about back to zero or maybe a very small loss. I took a short right around what looked like a neckline to a head and shoulders top, and now we've reacted to the cloud, 50 period moving average. So there is some significant resistance up here at about $37, $38. But one encouraging thing, if you want to long this stock, is we've gotten above the Tenkan-sen line. I've said before about a cloud like this with a very steep wall, this stock's got to put on some major moves, or it's going to end up underneath this. It's going to end up going through the cloud and underneath this resistance line. So, and then you got Kijun-sen here, which is resistance as well. So, like I keep saying, if you want to make a momentum play, come down to the 30-minute chart with Ichimoku and look for a pullback. Here's your Kijun-sen line. We're already getting a pretty steep uptrending line right here. So we got some good momentum today in this thing. up 16.9%. Fuel cell, this is one that I shorted, and when I saw this reversal signal, I took my profits here. So I'm glad I did. So I got about 27-30% profit out of some of these that I shorted. Let's see. So this is a 4-hour chart here, and price is above the Tinkinson. We're getting a TK cross, which is bullish. We have some resistance to contend with up here with the downtrending cloud. The bottom of the cloud is resistance, and the top of the cloud, these flat areas are a little bit stronger than the bottom of the cloud. Let's see what a daily chart. So daily chart, look what we did here. We came down, we started to break out below the cloud, we bounced off the 100 period moving average. Now we're back to testing the top of the cloud. So we want to look for a reaction right here. There is a good chance this could get rejected. I've seen this kind of pattern before. You got your Kijun-sen at the top of the cloud, a red bearish twist over here. I'd say there's a good probability this is going to get rejected right here. And I'm actually considering about putting on a new short position. This is a good place to do it. So I have a nice tight area to base my trade. Okay, I'm looking for a reaction for this to get rejected right here in a short position. And if we get a candle, full body of a candle above the cloud in Kijun-sen here, then I'm going to close it with a loss. At that point, we've lost the trade, and the price is basically free to go higher with nothing else really above it except for this top. Okay, when you have a top, that's resistance as well. So clear up there at 29.50. Gevo is another one that I was short. Took my profits down here when I saw a reversal on the 4-hour chart. See that long pin bar? Then we didn't make a new low. So these things were oversold. This is a way oversold move. So when I saw this coming, I was mentioning that the farther you get from the cloud, the more oversold you are. So I actually saw that reversal coming. I didn't foresee such bullish action here, but that's pretty much in line with the way these things can trade. We can draw a trend line. Let's see from this top. Oh, I need to grab my trend line. Huh? I wonder if this will start to form a downtrend here, or we're just going to blow past that. So it looks like this actually traded up another 2.59% after hours. So this looks pretty bullish. See a 30-minute chart. You like that bigger chart? Take over the whole screen there. 30 minutes. This looks pretty bullish. Momentum trade to the upside. Keep an eye on your cloud and your indicators here. That's how I trade momentum. I wouldn't want to just go long this stock and just walk away and forget about it right now with it still being underneath these downtrending indicators. This red line right here is actually a line that I drew on a very long term. Let's go to 10 years. You see that? Oh, this is not the kind of stock that I like to invest in. I mean, many will tell you that the story is changing and they think it's a great time to get in, but that's a lot of resistance. There are traders that look at this, as I like to say, the smart money is looking at this stuff. Okay? A lot of times the smart money has more money than you do because they're smart. So this looks like I would say pretty high probability this is going to get rejected, but we'll just have to wait and see. You never know. We've had a huge flood of retail traders come into the market, and they don't care about technicals. They don't even see them on their little Robinhood app, so they're just trading the daylights out of these things. This rally has just been crazy. I've been kind of baffled by the whole thing with these some of these stocks like Gevo and Plug Power. I haven't been a big believer in this rally, and I've actually kind of been a hater of it and watching for an opportunity to short them. So I did, and I made some quick profit, and then I got out. So right here we're testing the bottom of this cloud. See how the cloud bottom is nice and flat, but the top is irregular shape. So here's your stronger resistance with this cloud. Actually, here is the bottom. Bearish twist. Kijun-sen right here. I don't worry about the 50-period moving average so much until you start getting downtrending moving averages. These are still uptrending moving averages, so there's a bit of a conflict, push me, pull you going on here with these. I know there's a lot of retail traders really interested in these stocks, so they could push these things up some more. These are just areas to watch. So I was short this. I'm actually thinking that I may put on another short position based on this resistance right here. And if we push past it, then I'll just close my trade. But I already have a 30% profit from what I did here, so to lose 5 or 10% here wouldn't bother me. It's interesting. So this was actually down a little bit after hours. We're gonna have to see after a big move like this and the weekend coming up. I have a feeling traders are gonna want to take some money off the table. Quite often when you have a rally going into the weekend, they sell on Friday. And if you've been selling off all week, quite often they'll buy on Friday because they're hoping for a change in news. But right now, they might want to protect their gains and take some risk off the table going on the weekend to guard against potential news event. So this is NEO, daily chart. Got the Kijun-sen and a very flat bottom of a cloud here. I'm interested in shorting this one too, actually. Yeah, I haven't been a big believer in the EV market rally. I think it's way overdone. And the reason I think it's overdone is I like to look at long-term charts. And this move here is just crazy. I mean, the market doesn't just give you huge moves like that without taking something back. Let's see if I can get a weekly. Here's a weekly chart. Oh, look what's going on the weekly chart. We have crossed underneath Tinkinson. Look how we stayed above the Tinkinson line this whole rally. You see that? It's in white on this chart. And now we're underneath it. Here's Kijun-sen. If we wind up on a TK cross on a weekly chart, this thing's in trouble. I don't look at weekly charts a whole lot unless I want to, but it does give you a different perspective how long, how overextended this is. And then we have a very steep and thin cloud, so that's not very supportive of price comes down here and wants to touch this cloud. Do you think it's really going to recover that steeply? Quite often it just passes through it. So what I'm actually predicting, I don't usually like to make predictions, but I can just kind of see this thing basically continuing back down and burning off a good, I don't know, 50%. I could run some Fibonacci, but I don't use that a whole lot. But that might be something interesting to try in your platform, is run some Fibonacci levels on this weekly chart and see, because I think this thing could easily burn off 50% of that huge move. That's just way too much. BNGO. Another, I just left it on the weekly chart here. So this thing, we're actually underneath Tinkinson here. Kijun-sen's hard to see because it's right in line with it. So Kijun-sen's flattening out right here. We kind of almost bounced off it in a way. We blew past it and then came back above it. This looks overextended too. These things don't just go up forever. And I mean, look at the history of this. I don't like chasing moves like that. I like to watch them. It's educational to see how these things play out. So here on a daily chart, this is interesting. See how we put in a long pin bar here? That's a reversal signal. Okay. This can indicate support, this flat area. This is support. So what we look at is a daily close. So actually we put in a pin bar, which is daily trade activity, but we closed right here at this support level, and now we've bounced and we're moving right along the top of the cloud here. So we need to watch this Kijun-sen area. This is 1050, let's say. We've got an irregular shape at the top here, so if we can get past this could be free to go for a bit until we get until we get back up here near the top. There's kind of some resistance here too at the top of these candles. So $14 to 15, looks like about 15.50. Anyway, 30-minute chart, you want to trade some momentum. Like I keep saying, you come down to your 30-minute chart. Make sure you're staying above the cloud. That's quite a reversal there. I watched this playing out. It just looked like a pullback, and I really thought it was going to react here. You see how it reacted to the top of the cloud and came down, and then all of a sudden we just didn't care about the cloud anymore. So what we had going on here, well, we came under Tenkan-sen, but we now had support of Kijun-sen. It didn't get down to it, but it reacted with the bottom of the cloud. See right here, you can see where we reacted to the top of the cloud and acted like we were going to come down, but then got through it. So you can see how price reacts to this, but just because it reacts doesn't mean it's a done deal. Okay, it's normal to get a reaction, but eventually you get through it. So a lot of times what happens if price tests the top of the cloud enough times, if you see it testing the top of a resistance area repeatedly, that's like repeatedly attacking a door. Eventually you're going to break through it, you know. So those repeated attacks are a warning sign that it's likely to break through it. And I'm actually seeing that right now with GameStop, which is surprising, because I don't like GameStop. I think this rally is dumb, but anyway, that's for you to decide. A lot of people are trading it. There's money to be made. So here's your resistance level, and we tested it here. Big doji candle, or shooting star, maybe you want to call it. So I thought that was our reversal signal, but we had a bullish day today, or actually this closed down almost 2%. I don't know why we got a green candle when it was 2% in the red, but that's what the charts give me. But we're still hanging out right here. So if we keep seeing these, it just hanging out here much longer, especially with an uptrending Tenkan-sen line, I think this could actually break through it. I was really hoping this resistance would work because I'm a hater of this rally. Sorry to share my personal opinion, but it's just my personal bias. But then we're going to have this major top here to contend with. 460. Look at this big long pin bar here where it reversed. So I don't even really consider a pin bar like that a viable top. Maybe the top of this candle, but that's a red candle. So yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out tomorrow. After hours, it did nothing. So it's struggling with this level, but if it keeps hanging out there, it's liable to get through it. Some of you are liking to hear that, I'm sure. The Qs, QQQ. Look what happened here. Let's see. Reacted down here. There's your 200 period moving average. We get a long-term rising. Oh, this is a rising channel. We're well above the channel. So we're overextended here with this. Way overextended. And so I think for this just to keep going, when you're that far overextended, for this just to keep going, the market just gets more dangerous and corrections can get more severe. So, and I'm seeing the same thing with the NASDAQ composite with it above the channel like this. So now we've got the twist in the cloud and we're reacting right here at the top of the cloud. I'd kind of be surprised if bullish sentiment continues tomorrow, but markets are going to do whatever they do. You know, we just had some positive news today about stimulus, so we're going to see. We have to watch and see. But levels to watch, levels to trade off of. So I'd want to see the full body of a candle above this cloud to really be bullish about this, about the cues here. Right now I'm skeptically bullish. When you're skeptically bullish, you just trade the momentum on your 30-minute chart, and we're already overextended. We're clear up here above the cloud. We got a really fast moving Tinkinson straight up. Price actually kind of rolled over it there. So here's a NASDAQ composite. It looks just like the Qs. Basically the same chart, isn't it? Yeah. I like Facebook. Facebook has been a lagger for a while. It had a big run after COVID. I actually took advantage of this and I bought shares down here about $150 and I got up to 100% profit. Now it's been bleeding off, but I like the company, so I just hold it in my investment portfolio. So I drew a trend line along this top here where we keep getting rejected. And then we have a long-term rising trend line that I've drawn down here. Look how far above trend we were here for a long time. For, gosh, a few years. So this trend line, sometimes trend lines need to be redrawn, but this is what I've drawn. And it makes sense to me. So now we're coming kind of into a wedge here. So we're going to get to a point where price has to go somewhere. It's either going to go to the downside or it's going to go to the top side. And with this rising long-term trend line, I am in favor of the upside. You know, I think Facebook's a good company. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I'm actually thinking about buying a little bit more. If I see it down around this area again, let's see what's at 260. Still seems like a high price when I got in at 150, but that's what it is, 260. Yeah, so I'm just watching that. I'd like to buy a little more, but I don't want to buy it right here, not with I need to see. So this is another indication to me that we're not going to see a lot of bullish follow through right now because of some of these things they're testing these areas. You know, I'm just seeing a lot of charts where they're testing these areas. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Okay, Tesla. Whew. Saved the day. I thought I was going to kicked off my connection here. Sometimes there's Schwab here. It's right at 7 o'clock. Sometimes at an even time, they shut down the platform for maintenance, which is really aggravating. So it's always when the market's not open. So let's look at Tesla here. We had a nice bounce. People are getting excited about this. It could just be a better time to sell. I don't know that it's time just to pile in because the party's back on. Not with all this wood that we got to chew through to get back up there. One thing, you see this cloud, it doesn't really have the flat spots like some of the others. So we're kind of relying more on our Kijun-sen line, and we're right there at it. Okay, so If this puts on another big bullish move tomorrow, I would say quite potentially it's party time. Let's see what a 4-hour chart looks like. Okay, well, this is a little different here. And I drew some resistance lines here because this is where basically I got interested in shorting this when it fell through the cloud on the 4-hour chart, and then we got a lot of momentum. Look how quickly we got oversold here. And then bounced, and then we got rejected at the Kijun-sen. And we kept trending underneath Kijun-sen. Now we put on a huge bullish move. This is basically a bullish engulfing candle, and we're getting a TK cross. So I think right now the key resistance to watch is at 760, and I think I saw some resistance at 720. A little bit at 720. Well, 720 kind of comes in with the bottom of the cloud here. So 720 and 760 are your areas to watch on that. And actually I got into this trade because I just think the pattern's interesting. It's going to be a momentum trade for me, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on a 30-minute chart. Not a lot of real bullish action here, but this thing is up an awful lot in a short amount of time, so normally I don't even take these trades. I thought it was interesting the way it put in these pin bars right here. So there's like good support at $1.50. And it looks like it's trying to break out of this wedge. It's almost like it's, well, it depends on how you draw the lines, really. There's different ways of drawing your lines. So look here at your Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen line. Or let's see, this is Tenkan-sen, the blue one. So Tenkan-sen is below Kijun-sen. But the Kijun-sen is curled up here, and we're kind of following that. And the next one to Tenkan-sen is going to begin to follow. That's your faster moving average, so it should be starting to curve up here. 4-hour. Here's your 4-hour chart. Kind of interesting that we seem to be reacting to the cloud. Look what Kijun-sen's doing here. It's got this curve with this little bit of downward pressure right here. If these lines that I drew the other day still hold valid, then we've actually broken out of that wedge. But like I say, sometimes you need to wait for more chart information and redraw things. So basically what we don't want to see is we don't want to see a drop below this wedge, or worst case scenario, $1.50, $1.55. We don't want to see that, or we've got to bail. I'm getting a little long here. We're almost 30 minutes in, but CCIV, this was a huge runner, huge meltdown. We burned off a good 50% or more of that move. And that's pretty common when you get a big move like that, is to burn off 50% before it can go higher. I got some resistance levels I drew here. Actually, this was support, that's why it's green, and it failed. So now it is resistance. It looks like it's at, it's covering up my number, $27. Look at the Kijun-sen line here, how it's just hammering down. That's a stiff warning of rejection right there. The way this Kijun-sen line is curved down, it's just coming straight down at the price like a shark after a bait fish. So I'm not optimistic at all. I'd say high probability this is going to get rejected somewhere up in here. So I'd be careful about just piling into this thinking it's party time and it's going back to $66, whatever. I think some of these are just broken, really. I mean, with this kind of momentum downturn, Here's your head and shoulders. So I'm not really up to speed on the story with this stock. We're looking at technicals so we can see how to trade it. If you want to try to trade some momentum, or you want to know when to get out, if you are trading it, there's things to be aware of. Okay, daily chart is kind of interesting. It's trying to climb the cloud here, but we've got such a steep wall. This thing's going to really need to bust a move if it's going to stay above the cloud. And if it can't stay above the cloud, we've got this. This is resistance either way, whether it's under the cloud or above it, actually. When you have a nice flat cloud area like that, that's a key resistance area at $37. All right, that's it for tonight. I went kind of long, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. Let's look for continued follow through with bullish sentiment, or if these things are going to get rejected here.